Hey, hey, Kira here with Chicago Reacts. Welcome. I'm back, baby. And I'm flying solo. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel, first of all, so that you get all the notifications you need to get. And then today I am going to be reacting to Alternate History Hub. City flags are abominations. So the title of the video is City Flags Are Abominations by Alternate History Hub. I'm not sure what to expect with this one. I remember I used to wear a Chicago city flag necklace until somebody said something about it and shamed me about it. And I don't even really remember what it was about. So I'm thinking this is either going to be like a tongue-in-cheek making fun of city flags because some of them are hilarious, or actually like political commentary on what city flags represent or whatever, which is, I think, what the person was accusing me of in whatever way. I don't even remember. I like shut it out. So here you go. So y'all can see it. Let's go ahead and see what this is about. City flags are abominations. Okay, I think that I can't hit the space bar to play it.
Flags.
There we go.
Those wacky banners that fly anywhere and for anything. They can convey a message with only a few symbols and colors, and they do that job pretty well, be it on the street, on the battlefield, or online. There are 5 basic rules for what makes a flag look good. Keep it simple. Use meaningful symbolism. Use 2 or 3 basic colors. No lettering or seals. And be distinctive. Sounds simple enough, right? Flags should be recognizable at a distance, be simple enough, and should absolutely never have lettering. Now, can you take a guess who doesn't follow these rules?
Wow. Okay.
So I'm in the process of a much larger video. A whole video about flags of the world, in the same vein as that National Anthems video, if anybody remembers that. For the Q&A, I came across this question, which asked me to talk about city flags, and dear God, was it a rabbit hole. As you see, I wasn't simply looking through flags of American cities, but also city flags across the world. In the least shocking development ever, there are a lot of different ways that cities choose to represent themselves. The more and more I looked across the globe, the more American city flags just ended up looking worse. You see, this video title is a little bit of clickbait. As it turns out, not all city flags are abominations.
Impressive. Very nice.
Just most of them are. In the US, mostly from California. But I didn't just want to make fun of city flags. I wanted to travel the globe, through the internet. And then once we've ventured this wide world, we can fully take in the absolute monstrosities that fly over our American cities.
Whoa, there was one up in the corner that looked like a Christmas flag.
Your average US state that slaps a seal on a banner and calls it a day. Your typical European city flag will do the same thing. It just so happens to not be a seal, but a coat of arms. Coat of arms are a form of heraldry that can differ in their complexity thanks to culture and history. And because of that, the general trend seems to be that the further south you go, the more complicated the coat of arms will be. Scandinavian flags, for the most part, look pretty great. They follow all the rules of good flag design.
I have to go back and look at the crest of my family.
These flags are also
crests and flags are different.
That were slapped on a...
But some of those flags definitely look like crests to me. I think that that's immediately what I thought of. And then he keeps saying flags, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We're talking about flags, not crests. So crests probably have different kinds of rules in regards to what makes a good design for a crest versus a good design for a flag. I know I've seen my family crest a bunch, and I think it's maybe a lion or something. It's Elliot or Ellicott. So, yeah.
Banner. It just happens to be that most of these symbols were created within the last 40 years. So they're simplistic seals in a way. Show this to a vexillology nerd to break their brain. Norway really likes repeating things on their coat of arms.
That's
you
fair.
can't have one fish or two fish. We gotta have three fish. Or three hooks.
I like
or three
that.
birds. Britain is famed for making up symbols just like it makes up village names, but despite its long history of heraldry, many of its city flags are just alright. Their biggest
I like
cities
that
are
one,
usually
the
just
one
some
with the boat.
variation of the St. George's or St. Andrew's cross. France is a land of either tricolors or noble symbols. As an example, Brittany has one recurring theme. This symbol, by the way, is the ermine. It's often paired with the stoat, which looks a lot less threatening and much more
Oh
adorable.
my god! Oh, what a cutie! Look at his little nose and his little paws. Oh, I love cute animals. If you guys want to put like cute animal pictures in the comments thread, I'm okay with that.
Than the emblem depicts. Before we leave France, though, shout out to the flag of Mulhouse. Looks like the official symbol of the Japanese Navy if they tumbled through a wormhole. Most of Western Europe will use this basic design of a coat of arms on a multicolored banner. They're what we think of as the typical medieval flag. Germany, especially, is filled with that iconography. Now, while I'm sure there's a fascinating history as to why this certain city is depicted with a wolf, or an eagle,
Kinda
or even
badass.
a flag, there's only so much time I have. If I skip over 90% of these flags, I hope you can forgive me. Now, while the coat of arms is often repeated, what can differ is the flag it's actually on. Portugal, for instance, uses these square flags, while Austria and Liechtenstein don't even use flags. They use vertical banners.
Oh, I like
Serbia's
banners.
show that it certainly hasn't let go of a particular fallen empire. It's kind of funny because Greece itself pays no homage to that past. The only common symbol that reappears from time to time is this anchor and snake. It's an ancient Greek symbol for health that has survived the millennia, and you may recognize it on your next doctor visit. Before we leave Europe, let's take a visit to Kosovo, which probably has the worst flags in Europe. There is no real coat of arms, only a modern seal. Many of these even have a gradient, including the capital of Pristina, and I'm 100% certain
It's
this
such
statue
shaded
was
and
just
shit.
traced and illustrated.
Wow,
But while
I think
Europe as a
so.
whole is
Oh my
generally
God,
more
that's
traditional and
amazing.
safe, if there's one place that just has fun with its flags,
Okay.
The road to
Why is
adoption
this
is
happening?
even harder for shelter dogs with special needs,
Okay,
unless
this
they
is really
find someone
sad.
like you. Help
Is-
all dogs find homes during Subaru's National Make a Dogs Day.
All right. I mean, that was a cute dog on wheels.
Russia is big, and Russia has a lot of cities that aren't tied down to things like coat of arms. In fact, it's kind of a nice blend of both northern minimalism and an attempt at European medieval iconography. Local Russian flags are great because they visually don't look bad at all. They follow the rules of good flag design. It just happens to be the images on them sometimes look kind of funny. So the end result is a bunch of visually appealing flags that happen to look like goofy fictional nations. As an example, sometimes they're just animals
That's
doing something
not
funny,
really
like this
a
stork in a
flag
boot,
there,
or an
was it?
eagle holding a ferret.
Wow.
Some have more unconventional animals on their banner, like a frozen mammoth or a squirrel.
I
As
like
funny
the
as these
squirrel
all
ones.
are,
The squirrel ones are my favorite.
in true Russian fashion, there is no animal more depicted than the bear.
The bear.
Bear holding a key, bear holding a Bible, bear holding the power of nuclear power itself.
That's right. These bears don't fuck around.
Going from west to east, I'm going to briefly talk about Asia. Most city flags in the Middle East are
Ooh,
typically
that
just
first one was
logos on a
pretty.
white
I
field.
think it breaks rules, though.
Saudi Arabia probably has the worst of these. The city of Mecca, the center of the second largest religion in the world that billions pray towards daily.
Yeah.
Its flag looks like it wants to sell me healthcare. And
Yeah, it
yes, that is a
does.
translation of text into English. You can't make this up. Really nowhere else except Israel has city flags. And those are typically just blue
Yeah,
and
that's
white,
not
but with a
that
seal.
wasn't a good flag. Egypt has a lot of great designs. I'm stupid, sorry, LOL. Okay.
Central Asia has some pretty interesting designs, but it usually falls back onto using a seal. Except for the district of Tarbagate. I don't know why this cow, dog, and horse are squinting at me. I don't want to stick around to find out.
I kinda like that.
Ulaanbaatar has probably one of the
Kinda
best
badass.
capital flags I've ever
That's
seen.
fun.
Imagine if this was the DC flag. What's that?
That looks
China
like one of the like final bosses in a in a video game.
banned city flags in 1997. Oh, well, darn. Yeah, turns out China doesn't allow municipalities to have their own flag. So, hey, Hong Kong, enjoy that nice flag while you can. I guess that just leaves
Wow.
South Korea. And what is there to really say here? I don't know why, but white flags with text just annoy me. That's all South Korea has.
Wow.
It just feels like a nation of corporate logos.
No, that's
What's
exactly
most
what
annoying
it-
is
that's
so many
exactly
of these
what it feels
only
like.
recently changed, and it was to make their flags worse. I love that Daegu's
Why?
flag has an awkward shade of yellow. Like, it's just dull enough you have a hard time making out what it looks like.
Yeah, it's like not even mustard, right? Mustard is a little bit, in my opinion, of a dull yellow. I like mustard both to eat and the color. That's like more of like a dingy gold. It's like a gold that you need to shine. It's like how like your dad's wedding ring looks because he, hasn't like shined it or cleaned it in, God knows how many decades.
I appreciate that. Oh, I forgot one. What's a Japan? Yeah, so Japan has the best flags for some reason. They all take after the national flag and have a symbol
Not
in the
surprised.
center with a monocolored background.
Kit has a huge love for Japan, and it certainly a lot of that has rubbed off on me. But I've always thought Japan was pretty fucking stylish.
Some of these missed the mark a bit, sure, but even the weakest ones would look like the best city flags in the US. Technically, though, this does break the rule of not having any text, since these symbols are stylized characters. So, yeah, checkmate.
Oh, well, that's even more like a logo, in my opinion. I think that when I think of like company logos, also like I totally am on board with his assessment of South Korea's flags looking like corporate logos. And I'll also say that having letters that represent something it's a very logo-like thing to do, is all I'm saying.
Hey, 0 out of 10. Worst flags ever. Alright, on to the Americas.
Buckle up.
Latin America plays it safe. Most of their flags are either 2 or 3 colors. Usually they're just tricolors or bicolors. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It still follows the rules for what
That was
makes a
pretty.
good flag. And it's funny seeing how many tricolors you can mix and
my
match.
God.
If you ever want to make up some fictional European nation, just find a random Latin American town and copy that. But let's be honest, if there is anyone that should plagiarize
I
these
really
flags,
think that's a
it's
beautiful
US
flag right
cities.
there.
So we have traveled the world. For the most part, city flags are just the coat of arms slapped on some
Okay.
colored banner.
Yeah.
The outcome can look fantastic, or terrible, but most of the time a coat will just be mediocre at best. US cities don't have coats. Instead, we have seals. Seals, for the most part, do the same job as coats, but they're mainly little dioramas or pictures representing the place they're about. So the results are much different. A majority of
Yeah,
US city
that's a
flags
lot.
are just a seal on a banner.
That's a lot.
it. They're like all those state flags. I'm not gonna waste your time with the mediocre designs.
I'm really starting to, I think he may mention the Chicago flag. Because the Chicago flag is, in my opinion, one of the best flags there is. And okay, sure, I have a bias. I love my city. Ah, I lost my file and I'm not going to bend down to get it. But I really, even like removing myself from my own love of my own city, which I know. Okay, stop. I know you can't really do that. It's a good flag, and I'd be willing to bet money that he's going to mention it.
Just keep in mind, these are the main city flags you'll ever see. To keep things interesting, I collected a small sample of flags that I think best represents your typical American experience. So many of these don't simply break the rules of flag design, they break the rules of visual comprehension in general.
I mean, assuming that he's going to do honorable mention to particularly good city flags like Chicago's flag, he may just stick to the abomination conversation. And if he doesn't do honorable mention to particularly good city flags, then I take it back. I don't bet money on that.
Just mind-boggling decisions. Seals are already generic enough, but they at least look official. Many cities don't even do that right. It's like they decided where it should go with a game of pin the tail and the donkey.
I love it.
Why even have the seal at all if it's so small, all of these images just blurred together? Is this meant to be viewed at a distance of
Long
3
Beach is
inches?
beautiful,
Pomona seal
though.
gives way to the massive bold font that lets you know, yup, it's Pomona. So many of these flags are just awkwardly
Bridgeport,
balanced. They
Connecticut.
already have a seal,
I've been
but
to,
then need font
Fontana,
to repeat
California.
the same name again. I don't even know what happened with Westwego. Not only does the seal overlap parts of the tricolor, but it seems like their seal is a full 5 pixels at most. I don't even know if this is just a bad compression from the internet. I truly believe this flag is flying somewhere.
That's what I
in
imagine.
240p.
That's fucking
I mean, at least that
awesome.
seal is circular, which can't be said about Wells, Maine. Is this
OMG.
really a seal?
Wow.
What are
This
you?
is really bad.
Next are the flags I just call logos, because
Yes.
that's all they are. What else are they?
Logo.
They aren't flags. The city councils that picked
Totally
them
a
knew
logo.
nothing about what makes a good flag, nor did they care. These flags are some of the most American things you
Placenta?
can
Oh,
imagine,
placentia.
as they don't have symbolism or heraldry, they only have advertising. It's like if the US flag was made in Microsoft Word and every morning school children pledged allegiance to bold letters that say USA. There was really only one state where these popped up all the time. Can you guess? All of these flags just scream Florida to me. It's that cheapness. The combination of so many things going wrong, it embodies the Sunshine State. I love it. Sometimes
cheapness
these logos
as a
are paired with
descriptor of,
gradients.
like, what
Gradients that
Florida
are made in
is,
PowerPoint.
yeah.
Oh man, I love them. Logo flags are just unsalvageable.
Cheapness.
Usually you can do a few tweaks that make a flag look good, but not these. They're nothing but text. Once you remove that and whatever clip art they decide.
They should really change their town name, I think, because that looks like placenta to me. Or just don't put the name on the flag when the town name is Placentia.
To find online, what else is left? It's removing the veil and seeing the husk that is this town's identity. Jesus, that's a little too harsh. Okay, as much as I'm bullying these flags, I want to clarify, the reason that these all probably exist is because they were birthed from council meetings of old people.
Yeah.
Who probably just wanted to get it over with.
Yeah.
You think elderly Susan, overlooking a constituency of 2,000 people, wants to be lectured about what makes a good flag by some nerd? And even if all these flags followed every rule of good
I do hope he makes a case for why a good flag is important, because I am curious about that.
flag design, there's only so many designs that can go around.
I know why a good logo is important, but I don't know why a good city flag would be important.
One important rule is to be distinctive and have good symbolism. But how do you make one suburban middle-class town look different than the next suburban middle-class town? Was there some unique history one had that the other 5 miles down didn't? Because even if they had all perfect designs,
which is a
eventually they
village
just
right
blend
outside of
together.
Chicago.
And how do I know that? Because a place like that already exists.
We just
Puerto
moved
Rico.
here a little
It doesn't have a
bit ago
functioning government, but
from
I'll
Chicago,
be damned
so
if
I
every
don't
little
know.
village in town doesn't have a flag that follows all the rules of good design. Look at these.
flag.
They're little nation states. It's a different cultural attitude, one that doesn't really exist in the US. It used to not exist. I mean, times are changing and flags are
Ooh, I
improving.
like that one.
While towns and villages have logos on their flag, I can forgive that. What I can't forgive is a major city having a terrible flag, or an average city birthing an abomination.
So I would say that the Village of Oak Park is a logo flag.
Look at this. They put it between the colors. Why is the O so long? So many flags use loving clip art. They couldn't find an actual designer, so they just doodled what they thought would look nice. Newark
I mean,
put a
I
seal on
guess.
its flag, but they seem to have lowered the opacity so much that you can't even tell what this is. I actually like
Is that
complicated
really?
flags sometimes. I'll be an avid defender of the Maryland flag until the day I die. But this is
That
too
is-
much.
I like
get
it.
it's supposed to be like heraldry, but these are images that clash too much. If you couldn't
And
tell,
a
this
lot of
image is
words.
supposed to be a phoenix rising from the ashes, and it's just executed terribly. It's an open secret how bad this flag is, and residents have been wanting to change it for years. Milwaukee, do I even need to say
I didn't think it was that bad. I don't really have an eye for design though either. So I didn't think the San Francisco flag was too bad.
anything? This flag is one of the poster
Ah!
childs for bad flag
Ah,
design. It's
that
been
is-
beaten to death by
that's
the internet.
really
This
bad, Milwaukee.
impressively
Oh my
breaks
God, and
every rule of flag
And Milwaukee's such a great town. Oh man, come on guys. That's awesome.
design. The overly complicated images, colors that clash with one another, the multiple uses of flags within this flag. I never even noticed the tiny American one until writing this video. But
Where?
still,
Oh,
there
shit.
are worse.
Oh no, why am I getting ads? I don't think this happened when Kit and I did reactions together, so I'm wondering if I'm doing something wrong, and now you have to watch
At
me
Chipotle, our garlic
watch
guajillo recipe brings a whole
ads.
new dimension to steak. Our most tender
Which, I
cuts,
mean-
hand seasoned and grilled fresh, mixed with
I
garlic
guess
and
it's a
guajillo
thing that
peppers.
it's making me
Finished with
hungry,
fresh
that's
lime
for
and
sure.
cilantro.
Hot
All
damn.
new garlic guajillo
Chipotle.
steak. It's a whole new dimension of flavor.
I'll take it. All right.
Starting off with Beverly Hills. Yes, that Beverly Hills. The seal itself is comical. Every little image brings in something new, all wrapped together in this.
I mean, I do wonder if it's really that like pixelated in actual life now that he mentioned that previous flag.
Building, which
Seems
I'm
silly.
100% sure is just a JPEG with a Photoshop filter. It's
What?
gaudy and looks terrible, but it probably took millions to make. Provo. Provo. I'm impressed the city of Sanger has stuck with this flag since the 80s, assuming it's the 80s because this looks like it was ripped straight from a VHS from a 1988 infotape. There's such things as too many stripes, and Tampa shows it. As an Ohio man myself, I
Too much
typically
tuna,
love
too.
non-rectangular flags, but this cannot compare to the others. It feels like it tried to be a rectangular flag, but gave up in the middle. A good way I'd describe this flag is indecisive. What symbols do we want?
Wow,
Slap
why
all
did
of
they
them
do
together.
that?
There's a lot of bad flags, but two
With
I
the
think are the most
serrated
infamous
end?
are ones
Like-
you probably already know about. Sadly, these are so bad they no longer are around, just like the Great Auk. First, Cedar Rapids. It
Cedar
looks like an
Rapids,
old-timey attraction. The sketched-out landscape,
That's not so bad.
the text that was certainly written in 2 minutes. This was a beauty that, while ugly, had character. Now, while the new fancy flag certainly works as a design and looks good,
this Cedar
it doesn't
Rapids?
have that history that this beauty once
Cedar
had.
Rapids
Nothing.
is not far from my hometown. I guess it's called my hometown. We moved around a lot in my early years, but we landed ourselves in Davenport, Iowa. And so, like, looking at Cedar Rapids flag, you know, Cedar Rapids was like a neighbor to us. That's pretty impressive, I'd say. I don't know what the Davenport flag looks like, though. Maybe I'll look that up, too.
Thing has more character though. Nothing can compete with the king of bad flags, the flag of Pocatello, Idaho.
It's a cool name, though. Pocatello, Idaho. Wow. Yeah, there's some interesting
Yes,
things
that's right.
going on.
There is
There's
a copyright and
Yep,
trademark
there's a
logo
trademark
on that
logo on
flag.
there. That's
Take it in.
amazing.
Let it encompass you. This is the peak of the mountain, the end of our journey. We explored the world, learning of different cultures and designs, only to end up here in Pocatello.
Look at that
and
purple
fully appreciating the
monstrosity on
majesty
top.
that
What is
is
that
this
from?
flag.
Like the 80s?
Yeah,
That looked like
originally-
that looked like the design from yeah, maybe I'm a little bit off on it, but like Saved by the Bell, the Max Diner. just kind of in the same world as that. So that was rough.
I was gonna talk about some actually good flags, and they exist, trust me. They're just not that funny. This video ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would be, and I
Here we
kind of want
go.
to talk about them in another project, hint hint. But hey, city flags. Maybe you didn't even know cities had flags, but they do, and most aren't good. That's the lesson, bye.
Well, he showed Chicago
Password. Come on,
right
you
at
know
the
it's
end.
me. I need the password. Okay,
Except the
let me
actual
think.
Chicago flag wasn't waving
Maybe
in
it's
the
here
air
somewhere.
when they showed
Time's
the city.
ticking. Okay, shut up. Drat, I forgot. Well, you know, this wouldn't have happened if you remembered the password was NordPass, the sponsor of today's video. Oh, no, their integration. I didn't sign up for this. Did you know the most common password is 123456?
Is this how he ends the video? No, there's still 2 minutes. Okay.
Really? Well, that's my password. And that's because you're a big dummy. Passwords are incredibly important. They're the keys to every aspect of our online life. And sometimes those keys can get stolen by miscreants and ne'er-do-wells. But that's where NordPass comes in handy. It's a service which allows you to not only remember
Trying
your
to make sure I
passwords,
stay in
but
screen
keep
as
them
I
secure while
groove
doing
to
it.
this incredible
Sometimes
background
having
music.
your browser remember for you isn't the best idea. It's smart to have a service specifically designed with safety and protection of your passwords in mind. NordPass keeps your passwords locked up tight, saving you time by not only
I hope this
auto-filling
isn't
your
how he ends the
passwords,
video.
but auto-generating new protective ones as well.
There's still a minute left. Do I stick around?
Now, entrusting a service with your passwords may make you uneasy, but NordPass is a service built only for you. It's an encrypted vault that only you can access and nobody else. And if one of your passwords is compromised, you'll be instantly alerted. Get a 2-year NordPass premium plan plus an additional 1 month for free.
Man, I got advertised to a lot on this viewing. I'm thinking that's the and like now I don't trust it. Okay, 40 more seconds,
It's
whatever.
risk-free with NordPass's 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to nordpass.com/AHH and use the code AHH to get this deal. Keep your password safe and organized. Wait, what was that URL again? I was busy changing my password. Hey, how do you spell password? That's nordpass.com/AHH. You probably shouldn't have that be your password either, Jimmy. Come on, this is like Internet 101 stuff.
Lessons. Okay, I'm thinking this is it. As I continue playing the damn thing. Okay. All right. Well, that was a very fun video. And it was not at all in any way making mention of what flags symbolize. And God, I wish I could remember what was alluded to in that particular instance. But and he flashed some good flags, some good city flags, and definitely held a long shot of Chicago there. Unfortunately, the flag wasn't actually waving in the air because the Chicago flag is pretty nice. So I thought that was a fun little ride around the world, just kind of looking at different styles. In particular, I thought like the assessment in regards to the newer flags of the suburban cities just being, put together by some board who doesn't know anything about marketing, doesn't know anything about design, and really doesn't know maybe what the importance of having a good flag is, which I'm still not totally sure that I know. As long as your flag is recognizable. I mean, is it really important that like people can draw your flag well or whatever? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe those of you in the who leave comments can explain to me, and admittedly a very ignorant me, as to why a city flag is an important thing. I mean, maybe even an important state thing or a national thing. I mean, symbolism is important, I guess. Oh man, let's not dive any more deeply into my ignorance around like symbolism history and the importance of symbolism. And I'm sure many of you will probably have suggestions for me around what I should watch in regard to edifying myself around that. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you at the next one. Peace, everybody.